Hey guys, so welcome to the YouTube channel. Remember, if you know a friend of yours that has not subscribed, make sure that they are subscribing, guys. That way they can get access to the video as soon as I upload it. So here you can see the cover of our packet, guys. Distance learning, right? You also have my number there, just in case if you have any questions. You guys can give me shoot me a text, give me a call. You also know that through Remind, you can contact me, and also through Microsoft Teams. If you're having a hard time, guys, logging in through Microsoft Teams or Remind or anything, guys, let me know. That's what my number's for, okay? So let me know, and I can help you get that set up. So what I want to do right now, guys, is I basically want to explain to you how this is going to work. I know I've already sent a bunch of messages through Remind and basically communicating with you what the expectations are. I also was talking about that in my first video that I uploaded, which is you're going to have everything dated for you guys. So if we move on through the packet, we flip the page, you're going to see your reference material chart. So that's one of the things that you're going to need throughout this whole packet. So if you do rip it out, because I know I always tell you rip it out, have it ready. If you do rip it out, guys, make sure that you save it. Make sure that you have it somewhere where you can access it, because we might not need it this week. We might not need it next week, but we might need it the third and the fourth week. So make sure you don't lose it. So if I were you, just don't rip it out. Just leave it there, ready for you for whenever you need it. You might need to measure something. So you will have your ruler here on the side, and on the other side you have your inches. So you can see your inches on this side. Okay, so you might also need to do some conversion, guys. We've learned about conversion on length, volume and capacity, metric as well. We also talked about metric weight and also time. So whenever you get to this part, guys, remember, we do the ladder. And what would go on top of the ladder? Well, you know it's the biggest unit, right? Whatever it is, guys. If you're talking about miles, in length, right, then you put mile on top, and then yards, and then feet, and then inches. So the smallest one is at the bottom. So just remember that, guys, whenever we do go to conversion. I will talk about it in depth more also when we get to that as well. So that's what you're going to see as you turn the page. On this side, we have perimeter and area, guys. Something that we tend to make small mistakes with. But here are your formulas that you will need, right, for perimeter and for area. So make sure you can also have that ready for you as well. Now, if you flip the page again, you're going to see your cover page for the first week. And it says Category 1, Week 1. So what does that mean? So, guys, like I was telling you in the first video, we've already gone through everything that you're supposed to learn in 4th grade. Just before we went on break, I was able to cover everything. So we finished every module. So it's basically separated into 4 categories, guys, the whole year. And what I did here is I did Category 1, and basically I brought in everything that you need from Category 1 into 1 week. And we're just going to go over it, right? So every time you see one of these, it's going to quickly explain to you what we're going to be doing for that week. So for example, it says in this category, students will be working on place value. If you remember, guys, place value is something that we talked about at the very beginning of the school year. You might feel that you're very strong at place value, guys. It doesn't mean that you don't get to see the YouTube video. You still have to see the video, guys, so that you can just be aware of those small little details, small little mistakes that we tend to make, that I'll be talking about, misconceptions, you know, all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you continue to be subscribed so that you can get those videos as soon as I upload them, okay? So this is Category 1, Week 1. Now remember, guys, I told you I dated everything for you. So if you flip the page or if you turn it over, you're going to see the date. So this is the first day that we are back. It's the 3rd. It's March 30th of 2020. Right? So this is Monday's work, and you're going to see this page first, guys. So as I explained to you here, your first 10 minutes of class, guys, class is 1 hour long. Your first 10 minutes is for you to work on your multiplication table, guys. And you might think, well, sir, I can just do one and just keep it. Well, the point is, guys, that you get better at doing your own multiplication table, because it's not always going to be there for you guys. It's not always going to be on the wall. And it's something that's just going to help you overall, guys. It's going to help you become a better student and be faster at your multiplication tables and your division table, okay? And it's fundamental, guys, for 5th grade. As I've told you guys once, I've told you maybe a million times, Everything that we saw in 4th grade, guys, you're going to see again in 5th grade. So I want you to be strong and ready for 5th grade. So make sure you take this seriously. You can take your 10 minutes. Some of you take 5 minutes, and that's absolutely fine, guys, as long as you fill it out, because it's also going to help you with the next part of your packet, which is the skill. So at this moment, guys, you can pause the video, take your time, but don't take too much time. Try to make it in 10 minutes. Fill out your multiplication table as much as you can. So go ahead, pause the video, and once you're done, you can replay the video, okay? So go ahead and pause. Okay, so if we keep going, guys, you turn the page, you're going to see our daily skill practice. And again, it's dated for you. That's the work you're supposed to do on the 30th, okay? So again, when you get to skill practice, guys, it's already, I explained it for you a lot. I tried to put some of the things that we, some of the misconceptions that we would see in class. For example, when we subtract across from zeros, guys, one of the big misconceptions is that we would just ignore the numbers that are next to the 1, and we would just bring the 10 over. We can't do that, guys. We can't ignore the neighbors, right? We got to go through every single neighbor. That's why they become 9s. So that's something that we want to hit when we try the practice, guys. So as you can see here, it says if your number on top is smaller, you got to borrow from a neighbor that has value. In this case, the one that has value, guys, is the 1, right? Because the zeros don't have any value. I got to go to the one that has some value. So remember, you cannot skip zeros, guys. You cannot skip a neighbor. If you went to him first, you got to make sure you give him some credit. So now you're going to try. And I'm going to help you out with the first one real quick, guys, as something that I wanted to hit real quick. So again, look at this number right here. It's a 0. Can I do 0 minus 1? Is 0 strong enough to take away from 1? No, right? So I got to go to my neighbor. So I'm going to go to my neighbor. Now I'm going to ask my neighbor, hey, neighbor, can I borrow 10? But he's a 0 too. So you know what? I'm going to go to his neighbor. His neighbor's 0 too. Next one, 0. Guess what? I'm going to have to go all the way to the 1. Do you think a 1 has value? It does, right? So I'm going to borrow from him. He turns into a 0. That's correct. Now the misconception is I want to come all the way over here and bring a 10. And say 10 minus 1 is 9. Well, yeah, 10 minus 1 is 9. But what happened to all these zeros right here? Are we just going to ignore them? We can't. And that's what I mean by don't skip zeros, guys. You have to go through each single neighbor, okay? So this is what I mean. So since I borrowed from the 1, his neighbor turns into a 10. Now, do I need a 10 there right now? Do I need to do 10 minus 3? No, I need to do the 0 minus 1 over here on this side. So I'm going to borrow from him. So what does he turn into? Yeah, a 9. And then I go to his neighbor, but I don't need a 10 there. So he turns into a 9. Now I go to his neighbor. Do I need a 10 there right now? No. So the same thing, guys, a 9. Now I'm back to where I started. Remember how we started here? So now can you do 10 minus 1? Yes, right? That is 9. Next one, next section. Now we're here. 9 minus 4. Take your time when you subtract, guys. Remember, we tend to make small mistakes here. So you can count from 4 all the way to 9, or you can show me 9 fingers and take away 4. Okay? What do you get? 5. What about the decimal, guys? Can we ignore the decimal? No, just like buttons on the shirt, we got to bring them down. We're not done, though. Go to the next number. 9 minus 9. 0. 9 minus 3. Count from 3 to 9, or show 9 fingers, take away 3. What do you got? 6. And then there's nothing else. So your answer is 60 and 59 hundredths. Notice how I'm using my place value, guys. How could I check this work if I wanted to check it, guys? Think about it for a second. If you guess that we would have to add this number and this number, you're absolutely right. If I add those two numbers, guys, I should get this top number. If you don't get that top number, that means you subtracted wrong. So then you go back and you fix it. Sometimes we make small mistakes, guys. That's okay. But remember, the whole point is that we get the answer right. So now you try. In this part, guys, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions left. It should take you again maybe 10, 12, 13 minutes, guys. That's okay. You can take your time. Make sure that you take your time when you subtract and when you add, guys, so we can avoid those silly little mistakes. So at this time, guys, you can pause this video again. You can work on these 5 problems. Take your time again, 10, maybe 15 minutes, and solve each one of these. And once you're ready, guys, you can press play again on the video, and we'll go on to the next step, okay? So go ahead and pause. So if you're coming back now, you can see this page is not on your packet, but I added it to mine, guys, so we can talk about some of the keywords that you're going to see in this next page. This is what you will have on your packet. And again, it's dated. It's dated for a reason, guys. I want you to do one day at a time. It is category 1, week 1, day 1, okay? So we're going to go back to the keywords. We're going to talk quickly, guys, about a decimal. Now, what do you know about a decimal, guys? A decimal is just a little dot, but a decimal, guys, is very important. A decimal is used to separate parts from what? Can you guess? If you guessed whole numbers, you're absolutely right. So now, when you think of decimal, guys, think of place value. Place value is very important, guys. This is something that we learned. The first thing that we learned actually in 4th grade back in August, which is our hundredths. Notice how I'm saying hundredths. My tenths. Now think about those two real quick, guys. Are those two wholes? Are they complete? No, right? They're parts. So now we're gonna go on to our other side, on the left side of the decimal, which is our wholes. I have my ones, not a 0, guys. That's a ones, an O for ones. And then I have my tenths, my hundreds, and I can keep on going, guys, all the way to a million, right? But I'm just gonna stop there at hundreds. Now, something I want to talk to you real quick about, guys, is we understand that numbers can look the same, but it doesn't mean they have the same value, guys. So when you think of decimals, it helps to think about money. Money is something that we're very familiar with, guys. We see it everywhere. We go grocery shopping, we see a price on your chips, on your soda, on something. So you see the decimal a lot. You see the value in numbers. Now, if I were to put a 1 on every single one of these numbers, would you guys agree if I say that this 1 has the same value as this 1? What do you think? No, it does not have the same value, right? So the 1 in the hundreds is bigger than the 1 in the tens, because the 1 in the hundreds would represent $100. The 1 in the tens would represent $10. Is there a difference between $10 and $100? Yeah, there's a lot of difference, right, guys? So it's very important that you put your place value chart on top, and very important that you know the value of each number. They may be the same numbers, just like we have here, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. It doesn't mean they have the same value, okay? So that is what you're going to need for decimals on this part. Now, equivalent, guys. We're going on to the word equivalent. Think about that word, guys. Equivalent. What do you hear? Equivalent. You hear equal, and you're absolutely right, guys. Equal. So whenever you see the word equivalent, it means that you're comparing two things, and they want to know if they are equal, or is this the same as that? Is an apple the same as an apple? Yes. Is an apple the same as a banana? No. Right? So you're looking for equal. You will usually see this symbol as well, guys. Okay, so that's what equivalent means. Now, going on to the next part, fractions, guys. Now, fraction is something that we covered later on in the school year, maybe around late December, early January. Now, fractions and decimals, guys, go hand in hand. They are the same, but they are written differently, right? So a decimal, guys, we already covered it. It's up here. This is a decimal. A fraction, guys, can be turned into a decimal, and a decimal can be turned into a fraction. And this is one of the things that we did not that long ago. So if I give you a number, guys, as a decimal, look at this here. I'm going to put my place value chart as well. My tens, my hundreds, my ones, and my tens. Let's say I give you a number, 2 and 43 hundredths. Do you think it's possible, guys, for me to turn that decimal number into a fraction? Think about it for a second, guys. What do you think? Yes, guys, it is very possible for us to turn that decimal into a fraction. This is how you do it. Again, knowing your place value, guys, is very important. And the key word here is, or the key objective is, if you can say the number properly, you're going to be able to turn it into a fraction. So watch. Say the number properly. How do we say this number? 2 What is this little guy called? And 2 and 43. Yes, but where did the 43 land? In the hundreds. So this is how we say it, guys. 2 and 43 hundredths. We can even write it down in word form, guys. Watch. 2, the decimals and 43. Where did it land? Hundredths. So now that we know how to say that number, guys, we can actually turn it into a fraction. Would my whole change? Does your whole ever change, guys, in a fraction? No, it doesn't, right? So it stays the same. It's still a whole. It's a complete. It's $2. It's 2 complete apples, 2 complete pizzas. It's a complete number. Now, 43, remember, guys, if we look back up here, I told you that was parts. So a part is not complete, guys. A part is incomplete. So that means that 43 is going to be a part. But a part of what, guys? Where did it land? Remember how we said it? 43 hundredths. So where does it land? Yeah, in the hundredths. So guys, just like that, we were able to turn a decimal to a fraction. You see that? Now, this fraction is known as a mixed number. Why is that, guys? Why is it known as a mixed number? Who can tell me that? Think about it. So it's a mixed number for a reason. It's mixed. We understand that. What numbers are mixed? A whole number is mixed with a part. That's why it's considered a mixed number. And we can do it vice versa, guys. We can do it the other way around. They can give you a fraction. For example, they could have given you 2 and 43 hundredths and told you turn it into a decimal. And it's the same thing. Can you say it? If you can say it, you can turn it into a decimal, guys. Okay? So now that we covered that, you're going to be able to use this information. So you can come back into the video and look at this information. And you're going to be able to use that, guys, to solve these 3 questions. So when you get to this part, guys, and I'll tell you this as we make more videos. When you get to this part, this is all you. Let's say we have an hour and we already use 25 or 30 minutes in our multiplication table. And we also used it on our skill practice. Then you have the last 30 minutes to work on these 3 questions, guys. Is 30 minutes enough for 3 questions? I think it is, right? So make sure you take your time, guys. Make sure you highlight keywords. For example, equivalence, right? It's asking you for something. Look at the fraction that they gave you. And then you can work it out. And you can work it out, guys, by using the information that I provided for you here. Okay? So once you get to this, guys, make sure you take your time. Just because it's the first day, guys, I'm going to help you out with number 1. Just like we normally do it in class, I'm going to cover number 1. And then I'll release you for number 2 and number 3. Sound good? Okay, so this is the expectation, guys, for when you get released. So, as always, we have to start by reading the question. We have to read carefully, guys, and we have to understand what it wants us to solve. Okay, so here goes. Number 1. Which decimal is equivalent to 79 hundredths? Listen to how I said that, guys. 79 hundredths. That is the proper way of saying that fraction. So, okay, so they want me to look for the equivalent. So I highlighted my keyword. I drew what I had to, what equivalent means. And now, what do they want me to do? Well, they want me to turn 79 hundredths into, what do they want me to turn into? Oh, guess what? It tells you a decimal. Is this a decimal? No. I have to turn it into a decimal, just like this. Do you guys think it would help me to put my place value chart? Yes, you're absolutely right, guys. I should have my place value chart. Now, do you see any whole numbers, guys? Remember, we said this is our whole numbers. We said this is our parts. Do you guys see any whole numbers in this fraction? No. So we can put zeros. We don't have any wholes. We do have a part, though. It's 79 hundredths. Okay, so Mr. Fuentes, you said that we have, if it says hundreds, then the 79 goes there. Yes, you're right. But can I have 2 digits in one place value? No. So what can I do to the 7 and the 9? Yes, I can move the 7 to the tens and the 9 in the hundredths. Is that still 79 hundredths? Yes, you're absolutely right, guys. So remember how we said the first thing we said, do you see any whole numbers? And you said no. Was there any two answer choices that I could have gotten rid of? Yeah, I could have gotten rid of C and D because these two have whole numbers. And we said we see no whole numbers in here. Just like that, guys, we are left with A and B. Which one shows what we just solved? Yeah, B. So B would be your answer, guys. You see what we're doing here? Everything that we just did here on number 1, I talked about in your keywords. Okay? So this is day 1. You can go on to number 2. You can go on to number 3, guys. If you have any problems, if you have any doubts about anything, guys, I am here for you. You can message me through Remind. You can message me through Teams. Or you can text me. Call me. Anything you need, guys. I am here to help you. Okay? Once you're done with 2 and 3, guys, do not move on to the next day, please. I have to do another video for this one so I can explain to you what we're going to do on day 2 because they're not the same, guys. They are different, okay? So do one day at a time, guys. Make sure you're trying your best and you're taking your time to get every single question right. And if you need help, guys, I'm here for you, okay? So this is going to be the end of this first day's video. Try your best, guys. Work hard. I miss you. I miss you guys so much. You have no idea. I hope you guys are safe and I hope you guys are healthy. Make sure you continue to wash your hands, guys, and have a good day, okay? So don't forget to leave a good comment, guys, and tell your friends to subscribe. Alrighty? Bye, guys.